put a world apart.
Something in the water taught me how to crawl. Something in the water taught me how to fall. Something in my blood.
Welcome to another Something in the Water podcast. I'm Uncle Dave Griffin along with Sean Clark. Who we got this time, Sean?
We got the Old Souls with Jenu 6 and Chantal, Lynn.
All right.
How you doing?
Welcome, y'all.
How y'all doing?
Thank you for having us.
We've
Doing
had-
good. Having a good time here with you guys.
We've had Jenu on a few times, but
Yeah.
since then, y'all have created a duo. And
Yeah, we've made a duo and we've changed it from different names of ours here together with the Old Souls and Dive Bar Music.
Right.
So
All right.
combined them.
Yeah.
Join forces, yeah.
All right. Well, where did y'all meet?
We met in Sarasota.
Okay.
Yeah,
Down in
Sarasota, Florida.
Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from a town in Vermont that no one's probably ever heard of, but Wallingford, Vermont.
Wallingford, Vermont.
Yeah.
Northeast.
Yeah, it's up there.
Yeah, New England.
And then I moved down to Florida. I was down there for about 5 years, and I had met Jenu several years ago down there just through music, really, you know.
Okay.
I feel like that's how we meet a lot of people is just through the
Yeah,
music.
exactly.
We connect.
It's such a beautiful thing.
It is.
It is.
oh, forgot to silence my phone.
That's the signal for me to take my pill. So, how long did you live in Vermont?
Most of my life, I moved back and forth a lot to like Massachusetts and Rhode Island and that area, probably for about 7 years, and then I lived down in Sarasota for like 5 years. My best friend had moved down there, and I just needed a change, so I decided. I just like packed up my car and went, basically. And then I fell in love with North Georgia, and that's where we're out of now is Blairsville, Georgia.
Blairsville.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's beautiful up there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We love it.
I miss the mountains, you know. I'm from the mountains, the
From
Green
Vermont,
Mountains.
yeah, the Green
Now we're in the
Mountains.
Blue Mountains. Blue Ridge Mountains. So,
That's nice up there.
yeah.
Well, you get it all, you know, even though you're in the southern state, almost, the last state before Florida. And you've got this you've got swampy humidity all the way up to beautiful mountains and leaves changing and snow. Most of the time, y'all get snow. That's pretty cool. And then beaches on this side and red clay on the other. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy state.
It's beautiful.
It is a beautiful state.
And the AT actually connects them, you know, from Georgia all the way up to Maine. It's pretty crazy.
AT.
The Appalachian Trail.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah. That's so y'all met in Florida. Mm-hmm. I suppose you playing down there. You were from as you said on the last episode, you were from the Tampa area, weren't you?
That's where I was. Yeah, Tampa and St. Pete area.
Where your daddy was?
Yeah, and there's so I was playing in another band at the time on top of doing my band, and that's how we met. So I was playing upright bass in the old time string band. So
Wow.
yeah, and then we met, and then just finally ended up connecting and doing this band.
Awesome.
We've done quite a bit, and
y'all have
we've
done
done quite a bit in just about August of last year. So
Yeah,
we're
it's
looking to
pretty
do
crazy.
looking to do a good amount of stuff here this year. We recorded a new, our first EP early January. We're going to do another one here this January. And went on a tour out west.
Yeah.
Played a lot of shows in our region, coming down here and doing some,
Awesome.
hanging out with you guys. But just looking forward to getting into some more of the music places, where the listening rooms would be good. We look forward to that, to getting into,
Where people want to actually listen to the music,
Yeah, where they're wanting to hear it and hear the stories, trying to get really better and stripped down at telling stories and singing and putting the emotion into it.
Especially when when you're playing full time, you play a lot of places that you enjoy the people, you meet a lot of cool people there, but it's not the same as where, some people it's like, I'm sure you felt that before where you've been up there on the stage and you're like, should I just leave? Like, does anyone care that I'm even here? But you're like, listen, I'm just trying to share my music and make a living and not,
Especially like a restaurant bar.
Yeah.
And they're like, I didn't know there was going to be music, and I'm just trying to eat my shrimp.
It's funny. Boondocks, which we play a good bit, is a dive bar, and the atmosphere is pool tables and drinking and slot machines and stuff. And there's a constant chatter,
Yeah.
But
they're
I've
also
noticed
very
that
attentive.
there's one or two or three people that are keying dead on when you play an original song.
Oh, yeah.
And they're listening, and they respond to it afterwards, whereas everybody else just keeps on chattering.
If there's one person there that you can tell got something from it, it's
That's
like
all
it's
that
all
matters.
worth it. It's just it's difficult because you just we have to strip down a lot of what we do, because we can't, we don't cuss in front of kids and stuff like that, but there's a lot of songs we all can't do, you can't sing them, you can't play them, but it's funny because we still do some of them. Like one song we're going to do here tonight is going to be on the new EP, but it's like it's a murder ballad, and it's graphic. And the thing is, it's funny when you write these songs because they're like, like one of mine, Suffering in Silence. It's like this kind of dark theme song, but like there's a joy to it, there's a happiness to it. And certain people receive it differently. Depressing music, it's that I'm in with that, because it's gonna help me, you just gotta face it head on. Where people, I think they tune that out, and sometimes it scares them, they're just like, oh man, this is who are they? This is dark, all of us, what are they talking about? Oh man, and they just don't want to.
embrace the darkness.
Yeah, well, there's that, and then there's the ones that can't even get into it. They're just like, "Oh, absolutely not." And it's like, whatever, whatever we need you, whatever they don't, whatever's not really, whatever they're into on the social media, online, whatever the case is, everything's trying to get your attention.
Well, murder ballads seems like you equate that with horror movies, from the time that movies began, it was like you could count on packing the theater out with people because they want to get as close as they can, knowing that they're not going to go through it themselves or perform the murder themselves or have it performed on them.
Right.
That's their kind of escape, and they're drawn to that. That's the way I am with the murder ballad. I love them.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's passionate, really.
They are.
You know what I mean? If you
it's
really
real.
care enough to want to kill somebody, they really,
That's
that's
the
a lot of
real
energy
stuff,
to give. Yeah.
Knoxville Girl.
Yeah, and they did the Louvin Brothers. They did so much gospel music. Like, again, you gotta keep the balance. Sometimes you write a song about killing someone, and also
sometimes
if
you
it's
love somebody to death.
really when it's a revenge story, you know what I mean? Isn't it? That's kind of
Yeah.
a little more persuasive.
I think some people too, they just are able to look at somebody and it's like, kind of reminds me of being a kid, you know, when you like look at something and like for some reason it's like, whoa, that looks scary, you know, or that looks like there's something serious going on there. You're not understanding as a kid, like that's how like a lot of them look at you, like who is like, oh man, they're messed up, like this is not, you know what I mean, like they see trauma and they don't. It scares them, I think.
We were talking in the kitchen. You and I were talking about the demise of the mind nowadays with cell phones and social media and everything.
Oh yeah.
Do you think that
scared.
people have become desensitized to wanting a good murder movie, or wanting to go to a good murder movie because everything that's going on in the world is right here in front of you all the time? So it's like, do you even want a good horror movie anymore? Do people even go to the movies anymore?
Do you just watch the news?
People are oversensitive for sure. I mean, they're real scared.
So these modern day folks that find ourselves in our audience, they probably just say they're so desensitized and stuff. But yet they can hear you singing a song about murder and revenge and say, you fucked up, man. He's messed up. He's messed up.
Or they just don't care and they're just like, what an idiot.
What I see more is like what you were saying before is like, what the hell is this? Why is it so dark and sad? Why don't pick it up around here?
Right.
Who hurt you?
or you're into it's one or the other.
Right.
Sweet Home Alabama. Now.
You got to be willing to listen, and that's the thing. You see a lot of that, There's been places I've been in where I'm just like, I try, I'll sit, I'll watch, I'll listen, but it's usually a cover band, and it's just like, you're like, oh, all right, I gotta get up and leave. You guys want to get out of here? Like, you just can't take it, you know what I mean? But like, I try to hang around for a couple, 2 or 3 to see if it changes, because there's those things, everybody's ears are different, and what they like or what they I go for what is dark and not what everybody likes, and what is kind of just misfits, like all of us for the most part, just you relate with that much more.
The weirdos, yeah.
Well, you're among good company then. So y'all's tour out west, it was a lot of places like that.
Yeah.
The non-listening rooms.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But at the same time that we played a lot of, we kind of sought out a lot of dives, because that's where we both have at different points in our life probably spent a lot of time, and especially playing shows, it's like I've always felt at home in a dive bar more than I have in like some very uptight establishment. You know what I mean? And I'd rather go to the dive bar and hang, because that's where you have the conversations with people that are just like real and will just be straight up with you. And that was like the Dive Bar Music EP. We're like, all right, we're gonna have to hit some dive bars, and in the most unlikely places, really, some of these places we played, it was like sold more like merch than we were like, what? Everybody's like buying T-shirts and CDs, and they're like, IHOP, and like, come hang out with us. And
we even got taken out to IHOP.
they took us to IHOP at like 2 in the morning, and like in these areas where we're like,
Indiana,
where are we right now?
Yeah, and we started. We did. I think we were out there for 23 or 24 days, but whenever I was talking to you last, Uncle Dave, we were in Mississippi. We were just coming. We had just left Tupelo, and we were out there. It was a good time, but we started in Tennessee. We did a bunch of shows in Indiana, so we stayed in Indiana for a really long time.
We had a layover in Indiana.
We were out. We were just and there's certain places. It's like there's. You get on a trip and, you go, okay, but like you want to get moving on, right? You don't want to stay in the same area too much. So we we do that by sometimes, because it's like, well, that's a long way. So we got to be making,
Break it up.
Yeah, you got to be get, credits, getting some money and playing and everything. So, but it was good. We just, we were really excited to get out there to, we played over there in St. Joseph, Missouri, and our buddy had actually, we stayed with his family out there. But all the good people you meet, I mean, we played some dive bars. You know, we'd like to try to book. We're gonna book a record store, but unfortunately, it didn't work out. And we played a lot of dives. You know, we played the places where you pull up and it's like, this is a trailer, you know, and then you go inside and the bar's really nice. And it's like, wow, it's nicer than, it's like, right. It's like Bill Monroe's bus, you know, it's like, it looks like junk on the outside. And it's like, my dad was telling me a story about that, but I'm like, you go in there, you meet the people, they're nice, but some people, it doesn't matter anywhere you go. It's like, you can be in a dive bar that's so dark that people are like, there's no music pulling me back. I'm done for. Like they're done. They don't even care to listen to you. They just want to die for the most part, you know? So like you run into that too, right? Or you run into all different things. But we did play, we played some nice places too. You know, we played over at Boyd's Jig and Reel in Knoxville. That's where we actually started out, and where we are, we're not too far from Knoxville, just a couple hours. But we did a listening. Okay, it was a studio and a lounge. It was kind of. We also played another place called Mag Bar, but this place was called Rebel, and it was like a studio and a lounge. It was the closest thing to a listening room probably on there.
It was a super cool room.
Super cool room.
Owners are super nice.
You know, it was a college town in Berea, and super
Where
nice. Berea, Kentucky.
Yeah. But it was also a college town, and it was out of season. All the college kids were home, so the town was dead. It was a small town.
And they did such a good job, and if you guys ever see this, we appreciate it so much. But we look forward to going back. But sometimes you see, a couple more years, this is going to be really good here, or something like that. And then, you know, and then it picks up, right? People start playing it. I've seen way more people start playing that thing now since we had played, and you know, when I'd found out about it. But it's a good thing, especially in areas like that, you know, where you need something. It's nice to have that. It's nice for people to go, you know, I may not know these guys very well, but you know, they're into that different kind of alternative, you know, and country and roots music that, you know, I'm going to go. And there were a couple people, you know, there were a few people that showed up. My sister came, my niece came. There were a couple people from around there that they knew that came, but it's really tough going to certain other areas. They just don't. We had a good poster, good flyer, all that, but there's a million things that are like, hey, everything's going on. So. But we were happy with it. But I think that was probably the closest thing to a listening room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We played like Lonely Night, and then
that was a cool
Bessie's.
place. Yeah.
And Bessie's is like in the city where we'd actually seen a guy at remember we saw the guy at the liquor store? Mm-hmm. Like next, kind of near where the bar was, just like gets out of his van and starts like peeing onto the parking lot. We're like, where are we right now? Where is this bar? But they took us to, you know, they bought a bunch of merch, and they all like loved the music. They wanted us to keep playing. We had Jeremiah and Brittany with us. They loved them, but we didn't know how it was gonna go. Just even going up there, we're like, oh no,
we just you know, we just booked it for what we needed. And I mean, I started it in November or December the previous year, so I was easily working on it for 8 months, you know. And it's like, when you do that, you know, you talk to a lot of people that are interested. You talk to some people that they want to be interested, but they're just businesses right now, small businesses. Like they're just not, you know, you think about it as a musician, and it's like the businesses, I can just hear the stress on some of these, and like seriously, like we all know how that can go with booking, you know. But like I do try to kind of see it. I try to understand, you know, and I get it, but for some situations it's just like there is no they're just trying to stay afloat and stuff. But you know, we
are too. We're not trying to rob you. We just want to music at your establishment and have a relationship and be reasonable people. You know, we're not greedy.
We went out to Illinois. We did something there in a little winery place. But we played a restaurant, we played a bar. They supposedly had the biggest whiskey selection around, but and that's in Knoxville. But we did that listening room, and then we did some dive bars, of course. Old souls, dive bar music. We like getting in those, but also too we realized that like I said, in the dive bars, it's like some people they're like, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like they
Screw
just
you,
don't.
hippies.
Like it's like really, it's like so it's a tough thing. But I think that people can frequent places where people frequent where it's not like the parking lot is completely dark and right. And there's a light flickering. And, there's 3 or 4 people and it's just where there's fun and art and all that stuff going on. I feel like it'll do better, but it's still a struggle, and that's what we kind of. Like, we went to one dive bar out in St. Joseph, and the guy was super cool. And then there was, like, a tornado warning, and there was, like, a bunch of rain.
Sirens going off.
Sirens
They're
going
like,
off.
you haven't been here for a Midwestern storm?
Yeah.
I'm like,
is
this is
that?
my first time here, man. I don't know.
And then,
What is that?
they're, and
That's funny.
you can kind of see it's definitely got that good dive bar. Everybody in there is really, it's getting late and they're really, everybody's pretty drunk, So that's it. That's it. And then the guy there, Brian, he was a good guy. We went and played in Harrisonville or Harrisonburg?
Harrisonville.
Yeah. And we met a couple guys there. We met some people around here that identified. They're like, hey, we're old souls too, So we met some people like that. But we generally got a pretty good reaction. I really liked being in Arkansas. We played a little place in Little Rock.
The town pump.
Yeah, the town pump. But it was good. It's just I would go through. When you're doing something like that, I'm just like, you need like at least 8 or 9 months to do it. That's the hardest part about it is just doing it. Mm-hmm. And nobody canceled us or anything. Everything was fine. And it was like, we like to get messages, like, hey, we got messages, right? Like, but like some of those things were just like agreed on the phone and everybody was good. Nobody was like, nothing.
Why are you here?
Nothing. Yeah. We showed up and they're like, hey, they don't have any online stuff, but like they made a flyer like themselves. So they and they put it on there and it looks like a trailer out here and that's all good. And we get in and it's a really nice bar with like wood and we're like, wow, this is super cool. But we saw
a lot of state parks. I got to see a lot of cool shit and met a lot of really cool people. I feel like everywhere we went, we had done like there was at least people that were like,
yeah, it was a good time.
They get it,
But
they're
it's
there
tough
for the music.
booking when you're booking yourself,
Yeah.
Lord, just that little bit that we did when we went west back in April was, sending out all kinds of emails, to potential places along the way, and maybe get 3 responses, and just trying to hammer it out with them, and even in Nashville on the route back, I was thinking, well, maybe we can find a place in Nashville. And there was several that I called, and they said, you pay us to play here,
Wow.
and you rent the PA and this. I said, well, what the hell is this?
Is that some kind of weird Music City tax or something?
I think it's because it's Nashville.
Yeah, right.
More than anything. But so I love dive bars myself,
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think me and my wife did a little anniversary vacation down in Clearwater one weekend, and we had to be back by Sunday. So on Saturday, we left Clearwater, and I came up with this crazy idea that we should Google, we had Google Maps lining our route back home. I said, why don't we Google dive bars on the side? And all of a sudden, boom, it just exploded with A, B, C, D, E.
Yeah.
So we stopped at one in Clearwater. And what our objective was to do a shot and shoot one game of pool and then move on.
Right.
Well, it didn't work out too good because
It's always just one.
that was just one. I think we hit 3 that night, and we also took a picture of ourselves with the bartender at all of them. They were all relatively happy dive bars, and but just in the distance that we traveled for those 3, we were only about an hour and a half out of Clearwater, and we still had 4 hours to go to get Waycross, and it was 11:30 at night. So we had to buckle down after bar number 3 and just hit the road and drive. But
Drive drunk.
This is not a PSA.
it was all right, though. I mean, we had enough time in between dive bars that, you know, kind of
The more you know.
sober up and get to the next one. So what do y'all consider dive bar music? Didn't you name your CD dive bar or your tour?
We did name the CD dive bar music,
Okay.
but dive bar music I didn't really explain much earlier. We had me and the Old Souls, and then hers was Chantal, Lynn, and Side of Sin dive bar music. So, and I had never
Wait a minute, say that again. Hers
Chantal, Lynn, and a Side of Sin,
and a side of
and a
sin.
Side of Sin.
Yeah.
All right.
And that was dive bar music. And
Okay.
me, I've never heard that
Music
term,
for
you know,
sinners, you know?
dive bar music. And I'm like, yeah, so we just, we thought about a name. We thought about different things. Like I said, my band, a collection of people that had played with me throughout the years were Jenu 6 and the Old Souls, you know. And then I was like, well, you were called an old soul growing up. You know, I was called an old soul growing up. So I'm like, you know, I don't think we can do better than that. And she agreed, you know, and so we just dropped and Old Souls. I think dive bar music to me is just anything where you have some kind of experience, right? Whether you're down in the dumps and you're drinking and you're just like, you're going to have a bad night, right? You're just going to go through it. You're going to have a bad night. Or you're like, you know, you hear it and you're just like, it's when you get something when you're kind of maybe not looking for it, but like you're in a certain place, you know, and you hear it, country, blues, roots music. That's what I identify with the most. But anything that's real, you know, I've heard newer music that like, you know, isn't that, and like you hear it and you're like, you know, you get something from it, you know, and it can be something completely different, but generally country and blues does it for me, and that's roots, you know.
Well, I always had a hard time with, like, especially when I was trying to first book gigs with my band. So originally I had a 4-piece, and then I had a 3-piece for a little bit, and then it was just the 2 of us as a duo because a lot of the Corona and everything, a lot of things happened over the past few years. I'm sure everybody knows that, but and you know, I always had a hard time pinning down what genre of music I played because I'm like, well, I'm not a traditional country player. I never really boom chucked or anything. I was just kind of just like however I felt it. Like, so it's not really country, but I like have that influence because I'm from the country, and that's just a part of like who I am and the music that like really I connect with. And it's like, what is it, like, what the hell is it called? I didn't know what to call it, you know? So I was like, I feel like it's what you would hear if you were just walking into a dark dive bar where, like, they got PBR for $2 and, like, you know, questionable cheap shots. And it's like, you know, there's people are probably smoking, and like there's a lot of people that are just like looking fucking miserable, but at the other, you know, but then you end up having like a 2-hour conversation with somebody about that you connect with, a complete stranger. It's just real people
going through it.
Yeah.
Just real
working
shit.
class, just like your average, like, oh man, my life sucks, but man, I actually like that one song that you did. It's nice to meet you guys. You know?
It's funny because a lot of times too, when you meet people like that, like there's not really anything great that they're that's a big difference I see with what you'd maybe call different classes or whatever, but people who are real well off or who have been in that a long time, they can have problems. But like, it's just like our people, you know what I mean? You just, you get them and like, you don't have to, you all have something in common, you know?
You're all
and
getting your hands dirty in some way.
You all have something in common and like, it's something you can relate to, and that's just where we are. But there's some people that don't care about relating to anything, we've all been in those conversations in bars where it's like, I spent 3 hours drunk talking to that person that I would never talk to, or getting into it, or whatever the case is. But it's like, when you're in there, bars are perfect places for problems, right? So
it's full of experiences.
That's the place, and there was no trouble or anything out there. We had a good time, but we met some people, and then you meet some people too, which it doesn't really ever make me feel better. But I'm like, damn, it ain't too bad for you, Jenu. Where you're like, you meet some people that's just like, whoa. You hear them and they're spilling it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it makes you feel better when you're like torturing yourself for like deciding to become a full-time musician and be like, well, I feel like an asshole, I'm sitting here and you're like, oh, that's nice. Oh, you had a hard night. You played for 3 hours and, you spent another hour at the bar. You were there an hour early. It took you a little bit to set up. They're like, I've just worked fucking 80 hours this week. You piece of shit. I don't want to hear about how sad you are. Sing me another sad song. I'm like, I'm sorry, man. I've been there too. I understand that. But like, it's just, let's relate on this level. And you do relate with a lot of people. But at the same time, I understand. Like,
I think for people too is it's just like it doesn't matter, it's whatever I think that if you do something that is, even if you're losing at something you're doing, right? Like, as long as you're trying and you're happy, if you're not quite hitting a certain mark or reaching a certain audience or whatever the case is, or you go, there's a few people that care and then the most of the others don't. It's like, I think that if you're doing that, it's more rewarding. Even if you decide to maybe not do that later down the road, you do it for a great majority of your life and like you get something from it. It's a therapy. That's what I think dive bar music is. I think it's a therapy. I think it's something you can relate to and something that you work through. And I just think it's like Hank Williams, George Jones, any of the stuff. It's just like, yeah, that's real living right there. And like, I know how you feel. You know what I mean?
It's a reason why sad music makes a lot of people happy. I mean, we listen to sad old songs, and those are some of the greatest songs and some of my favorite. And, it's funny how it doesn't always make you sad. Like a lot of times it just makes you, like, it makes me feel great. I don't know why listening to sad music does, but it's the same reason why, like, somebody will be like, yeah, I listen to thrash metal, and, it puts me in a mood where I think about, rainbows and sunshine. It's like, it's just music has an effect. It's funny how that works.
Yeah, I read one time where some B.B. King said something. I was very happy when I wrote "The Thrill Is Gone." What you talking about? And the songs, as songwriters, they'll come at any given time, and you just got to be, you can just had the happiest day of your life, and here comes a song, and it might not necessarily be a happy song. So you just go with it. Same way if you're sad, you might write a damn happy song.
Yeah.
It just don't matter, they come and they go. But the thing about dive bar people that I was getting from y'all is that lack of pretense, Mm-hmm. That's the least pretentious folk you're going to find on the planet right there in a dive bar, as opposed to a golf club.
Right, yeah, they're real.
Those are the people we respect, because it's, you get what you see mostly, everyone's going to, one's going to take your shit and no one's really going to, they're just going to be real.
They're not putting on a front.
And boy, they'll have your back, too.
They're not trying to impress anybody.
They'll have your back if they love you.
Oh, yeah. It is. It's a funny thing because, you realize it and it's like, and you see it too. It's almost like it's almost like a lot of it is like they all get you know, and some of them, it's funny, you know, you can see it. Like they stay at a certain distance, you know, and it's like the more they drank and stuff, then the more they talk, the more you get, you know, then it opens up more, right? Because they're already on a defense too, a lot of people. So it's like, you know, and then, but no doubt they always, they say what they say what they think. They're real, you know, it's not, it's, and some of them too, like, it's funny. It's not always a pleasure to talk to them. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's just a real nightmare. And then it's funny because you're like, I know, I've been there. You know what I mean? You know exactly what they're going through. Even if you can't, you're sitting there, you know, you're the drunk guy that just, you know, keeps going on, you know, it can't, goes around. You know, I have a story that I could tell you about this guy. So, you know, it's like sitting at a bar where you see the guy and you never want to be that guy where they're just so drunk, they're so hammered, they're going around, they're whatever their problems are, they're that one, those people don't want to hear it. Now they've moved on now and they've made their whole way around the bar and now here they are right before you.
They slide up real quick.
You have to
Real
deal with
slick,
them.
like,
And it's like, and then you're like, I can't let you off easy because you're like, you're not right about this, or like, man, like, you know, like, because most people are just like, I don't care, dude. If you get hit by a car, get the fuck out of my face, you know. But like some people, it's like, you know, I've tried to help people like that too, and sometimes I've gotten through to some people, and they're like, you're right, man. Like, you know, and you can kind of see that they may feel like they're gonna take and get off of that shit, but some of them don't. It's usually the people that they can't even see where they've gone wrong in certain instances, right? It's still everybody else, right? It's everybody else is everybody. You just meet some really nice, real people out in the dive bars.
Mm-hmm. That's Boondocks. You know, Boondocks is a great dive bar, and
that'd be a good place for y'all to play.
Oh yeah. They would welcome y'all, sure. We'll figure that out. Y'all want to take a break and play a song, play some dive bar music?
Sounds good. Good. Sounds good.
We'll be right back, folks, with Old Souls.
Something in my brain won't let me stray. Something in my veins gonna find its way. Something in the water taught me how to pray. When that cold black water finds its way into your veins, you'll never be the same.
My name is Chantal, Lynn. This is Jenu 6 here beside me. We are Old Souls, and this one's called I'm Fixin' To. Ain't lost in these woods, got no ladder, no
Hey guys, I'm Jenu 6 of the Old Souls, and this is a new song we wrote called The World Apart. She wanted to run away, but didn't she always say to wonder if he ever changed? Bottle after bottle, fight after fight is keeping us up too many damn nights, saying things you and I will never forget.
Hanging on to the promise of our golden years, testing our patience, but the liquor don't mix right when your chaser's a glass full of tears. We're too tired to contemplate starting over, trying like hell to remember if I like us when we're sober.
You call me a monster, and maybe I am. How can I get better with the shape that I'm in? And I'm lonely, yeah, I'm lonely once again. Had her ups and downs throughout the years, two broken hearts bound by fear together, still world apart.
Hanging on to the promise of our golden years, testing our patience, but the liquor don't mix right when your chaser's a glass full of tears. We're too tired to contemplate starting over, trying like hell to remember if I like us when we're sober.
Had her ups and downs throughout the years, two broken hearts bounded by fear together, still a world apart. They're still together, but a world apart. This is one off of our new EP, Old Souls Die Bar Music. This one's called Why. Lives outside of an old steel house, on a black school bus, just like a gypsy does. Here's a crow tattoo on the side of her neck, and I know that this gal has been through some hell.
I seen her one day after she went away. She was down by the pond dancing in the rain. Yeah, smiling at the sky like she just been saved. Oh, she broke free again from the past and the pain. Yeah, she broke free again from her ball and her chain. And why do we hurt each other? Why do we hurt ourselves? Why is it we always want what we shouldn't have? Oh, and why is it never want any help?
I met him down here in the flatlands, chasing fast times and liquor, singing country blues. Pack only owned in the back of his van. Oh, living a life most don't understand. He's a good man, he's better at being a bad guy.
cold winter blizzard storm.
There's one guy who goes into fans, and he said, here's a double bass fan with 2 tubes running out of it, a window fan. Here's an oscillating fan, 2 little oscillating fans, a heater, and he stacks them up, all kinds of combinations to get that perfect sound that you want to sleep by. I just want the old window fan that I slept by as a child. That's what I'm looking for.
It's different.
Fans are nice. Fans are nice.
When it's kind of coming from outside too, like it's not just the air circulating.
Jody has to have a fan, and he'll, when we're staying at a hotel or something, he'll have his he's like, I'm sorry, guys. And he'll turn his phone on to some track playing a fan.
Like fan
I'm
ASMR.
like, really, dude?
It's like 10 hours.
10 hours of ceiling fan.
That's brilliant. These guys are monetized and everything on YouTube. But all they do is 10 hours of brown noise. How much damn work did he do for that,
So we know if live music ever completely dies, it's because everybody's at home watching a YouTube video of a guy playing with a paperclip for 3 hours straight at a high frequency. They're like, oh, this is going to heal my deep wounds. I'm going to listen to this and fall asleep to this for 3 hours.
Why is it, too, that it's weird, but, like, why you're able to... I feel like people used to be like, "Oh man, I gotta see that," like I gotta come and I gotta call you, I gotta come visit you, I gotta see it. Where it's like now, it's like, that's the furthest thing from anything. They're like, no, just tell me about it. You know what I mean? Like,
let's go ahead and get into this so we can get out of it and get into it. Because we're talking about things that
I think we're rolling.
Need to be on the deep
we're rolling,
end.
though. I mean, it's just.
But we're not even in the deep end.
We're not rolling.
I think we've been
Take us to the deep end, Dave. Take us to the
We need
deep
to
end.
get out of the first
deep
one.
end already.
I thought we were going to come back and react to their songs.
We're rolling.
We ain't doing it.
We're rolling.
Welcome back to the podcast, y'all. Hey, that was some good songs y'all did.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We all sound very enthused, don't we?
I'm gonna leave it like that a little bit.
Yeah, he's not
Listen,
cutting that.
it's
He's not
time
gonna
for the tale of the week, and this tale of the week comes from a Uncle David archive, and it concerns a subject that we're all fond of here in this house. Witches. No. I never did like cats. There, I said it. Now let me try to absolve myself. I grew up on Dog Hill, Mount Pleasant Road in Waycross, Georgia. I was surrounded by dogs, neighbors' dogs, Rex, Corky, Tojo, Smut, kinfolks' dogs, Trouble, Rochester, Bullet, dogs of my own, Sport, who was with us from the time, oh, there he is, little old Sport. That's me with my belly poked out, and my little sister Deb and my cousin Wanda, who lived in that house behind us there. Sport. He was with us from the time I was 7 till I was 18. He passed one winter night when I was miles away in my Oxford Hall bedroom at Georgia Southern College, and I felt him go. I was very much acclimated to dogs. Cats, on the other hand, were almost always never around. Grandma and Granddaddy Carter had an old orange cat named Tom. You can't see what color he is in that, but he was orange. That's my Uncle Vance holding him, my Uncle Bud on the right, and my Uncle Ed on the left. Now, Ed was a Griffin. The other two boys were my mother's brothers. They were Carters. Ed was my daddy's younger brother. So by that time, I guess Mom and Daddy were dating. And so the two families were spending time with one another. But that was Vance holding the cat. His name was Tom. He probably served a real purpose around the farm, like killing mice or snakes. But he was so damned indifferent, like most cats are. I believe that cats would not, nor could not, give you a second's worth of affection. I tried, believe me, only to watch them skitter off in another direction. And they are a bit mysterious, too, with their big calf eyes, all-knowing, reading your inner soul if you stare at them too long. True. I was lying in bed on Dog Hill late one muggy night reading The Exorcist by William Peter Blatty. I had cranked out the louvered windows at the head of my bed and was so deep into reading about the devil when I heard a movement in the straw azalea beds just outside the window. Before I could say, "Get thee behind me, Satan," a cat hurled itself against the window screen, screaming his fool head off. Scared the pee out of me. Now, why that cat chose that particular moment in time, let's just say it only served to reinforce my belief that they are evil, alien, possessed like Linda Blair. You're supposed to put echo on that when I say Linda Blair.
Oh, man.
In late 1992, I bought the house next door to where I grew up on Dog Hill. It was a beautiful home that held a lot of memories for me, because that's where my old buddy James Cock lived. Listened to the first Beatles album in James's long wood plank bedroom that we used to call the little back porch, playing spoons, a card game in the breakfast room, and lazing around aimlessly, watching Saturday morning cartoons. I was a divorcee at the time I bought it, and the house was relatively empty save for an antique desk, a rollback sofa, TV stereo, and my bedroom suite. My daughter Megan was turning 10 on her birthday that year and desperately wanted some kittens. Megan's mother agreed, yes, she can have kittens as long as they stay at your house. The power of daddy love is strong, but it can't hold a candle to the power of kitty brainwave manipulation. I bought a big bag of kitty litter, a litter box, and a scooper, and their new home was that long wood-floored bedroom where I used to listen to Meet the Beatles. Sugar and Booger was their name. They were secluded behind two French doors, which I would tiptoe to ever so quietly, throw the door open, toss the food bowls in, slam it shut before they raced into the rest of the house. It was they who were imprisoned, but it was me who more and more felt trapped in my own home. Several tracks from that old Beatles album, It Won't Be Long, Don't Bother Me, and Not a Second Time, began to resonate in my head as my feline ambivalence grew by the day. It wouldn't be long before they were relocated to a better home. I won't say how. Several years ago, my wife Lynn had a part-time job sitting with a dear older cat-loving lady up the road in Blackshear. Miss Jerry had never been married, loved Greg Allman, and lived alone, except for a couple house cats and several more cats in the yard. Sadly, Miss Jerry passed away, and Lynn came home toting one of the feral outdoor cats in a pet carrier. He was a curious devil with green eyes and beautiful gray and white markings. She named him Tiger Tom, and he started making the most of his new home, but still he slid outside when he was inclined. In his first month with us, Lynn called me out of bed at 2 a.m. to tell me that Tiger Tom was wailing for help somewhere in the backyard. We found him in the biggest pecan tree on the lowest limb, 12 feet off the ground. So I leaned our 6-foot ladder against the tree, stood in my underwear on the topmost step of the ladder, the one that says, "This is not a step," wrapped my left arm and hugged my right leg around the tree, then shoved my right hand as high as I could reach, only to fall short by about 3 inches. I told Lynn, "Leave me on my precarious perch. Run inside, get the bag of cat food, and shake it at the bottom of the tree."
You've been coming up short 3 inches ever since.
That was all it took for Tiger Tom to inch his way close enough so I got a death grip on the back of his head and pulled him free. I risked my neck to save that cat's life, and somehow in the grand scheme of life's wonders, that cat and I started bonding until he went missing for good. And that wasn't me. That's when right there, that was the bridge that I crossed to start to love cats right there. That's Tiger Tom. In January 2019, Lynn saved a tiny kitten who was left in the bushes by our front door out in the cold. Little bit. He's little, all right.
He's chunky.
Little bit pretty much adopted me since that night, and he and I get along famously. And I'm sure my old dog Sport's rolling over in his grave. That cat's got more personality than I've ever seen a cat right there.
Look at all that sass.
Look at that. Let's see this.
That's a lot of sass.
Very gentleman.
Now, how long ago did the one go away?
Well, I don't know, probably 2016 or 17.
Yeah.
I mean, we were upset. You know,
Of course.
We thought, well, maybe he ran off with a girl, or maybe somebody grabbed him, or maybe he didn't fare well, or maybe a hawk or an owl got him.
Yeah.
You know, you never know when they don't come back.
Yeah, we had a Chihuahua my parents had, and we had him for 5-6 years, and let him out to pee as usual, and never came back. I think somebody snatched him up or something.
They do that with little dogs, you know, or cats, you know.
Well, the smaller they are, the more that possibility of a prey, you know. Big birds down here.
Oh, yeah.
Well, see, Thunder's small, but he's also like heavy.
Yeah,
he's
he's
like 30 pounds.
Buddy would have been too heavy to carry off.
But they see one, they'll definitely take. You know, you've seen that happen a lot, and people, they just, I don't know, man. It's like, I don't know how you'd, there's a lot of animals that go missing and wind up dead, and it's like, you know that it's the cause of people. I feel like that's a lot of it. I mean, you see something run out on the road or something, but it's like, when you're in the, animals don't generally leave where they're accustomed to.
Yeah.
You know, they generally don't.
Something's at play there.
Right. Yeah.
Well, on that happy note, say thank y'all for being our guests.
Thank you
this time.
for
We've
having us.
enjoyed it and loved the music.
We've
and
enjoyed you. Yeah.
y'all check out Old Souls on the internet. You know, you can probably find them on Facebook.
You can find us on Facebook. Everything is at Old Souls Duo, DuoLDSOULSDUO.com. That's Facebook, Instagram, the website. Anybody that's on here sees us, want to make a donation or something, just make it right here, you know, to Something in the Water. And we appreciate you guys very much.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds
Thanks
great.
for having us, guys.
And check out their music on Spotify or anywhere
Spotify,
anywhere
Apple
you,
Music. Like I said, the website, we're
stream
kind of
music.
starting to get. I played in a band for many years and did it the hard way, going from venue to venue. But we're online more, and you can get all the music on there. You can buy the CDs, you can buy the merchandise. You know, so
It's all at Old Souls Duo, and then the website is oldsoulsduo.com.
yeah. And we are doing. We're doing a new CD. That's something that I should say is we'll probably always release. We don't really release full CDs. We release EPs, and we'll release another 6 songs or so here in the new year. And just make sure that come out to see us. And there will be a new song of Chantal's that is on the CD called Fixin' To. Also another one, a new one I just wrote called A World Apart. And then we have the one that we shared with you guys tonight from the previous CD, our first release. So just look out for that stuff. Everything's Old Souls duo.
Yeah, all right.
There you go.
When
Yeah.
when you're DIY, you rock all your own merchandise whenever
That's
possible.
I just don't
I was
like
wearing
buying
my hat earlier,
clothing,
too.
you know. I really don't, you know. But people seem to like it, you know,
Well, it's
because
like we already bought it, so you know, like
we're
wear some
literally
of it.
everybody in this room is an old soul. I mean, that's why we're all, you know. And there's so many of you guys, and we appreciate you. But please, if you see this tonight, you know, buy a CD, buy a shirt, you know, whatever. We'll hook you up, but you know, make sure to keep this going with it because it's not always easy to be seen on by other people, you know. So we appreciate you guys.
Go out,
Absolutely.
support local musicians.
Yeah,
whenever you
and
can.
we appreciate y'all too for
Thank
watching and do what he said. Like, subscribe,
Give Sean Clark all your money.
say a comment, share
And your
this,
soul.
share this on Facebook or with anybody you want to, and check out old shows at a dive bar near you. So we'll be seeing you next time.
Fall
right here.
2024, New England. We're coming.
When the cold black water finds its way across through your veins, it just might seal your fate. It just might seal your fate. It just might seal your fate.